Hi guys, good night. I know it's like late, but when do we not do a video that's late? Sorry, we haven't been on here. I don't know how long has it been.
I don't know.
It's been a while. But I just told Joe I had just something in my heart that I wanted to share with you guys. And I asked for his help because it's going to involve a lot of his comments and just his opinion. So today I was telling him that I had wanted to do a video for Father's Day because I wanted you guys to kind of understand the perspective of just kind of like the guy part. It didn't happen, so I'm sorry about that, but I don't want to miss out on the opportunity. So he sent me this today, and you can't really see, and it's backwards, so I'm sorry about that, but there's just two heads, and that's all I want you to concentrate. One says I'm fine, and the other one has tons of stuff, okay? So these are the things that I just want to say what it says. It talks about money, failure, worries, feeling inadequate, okay? I don't do enough, need more time, they're stressed, burned out, need to set a better example, they're confused. So that's all just, this is the dad on the inside, dad on the outside, I'm fine. And if you ever ask your husband or anybody around, how are you feeling? They just give you,
just like she said, I'm fine.
I'm fine. Everything's good. But the thing is that it's really not okay because they have all the other stuff going on. And in our mind, and I was telling him, we have a misconception that guys, they're not stressing out. They're not worrying about the kids. They're not worrying about what's going to happen or, that there's not enough food or just we think they don't care or they're being careless. When the actual matter of fact is just because they're quiet and they don't say much doesn't mean that they don't care. So I kind of just want you to touch bases a little bit on just to explain to them like what is going on in your mind, even though you guys don't say anything, like what does like go through your guys' mind?
You might have seen that picture going around on Facebook or Instagram, and it was a post that I saw that I thought was pretty accurate. So I sent it to her so that she could read it. And if you have seen it, you can look at it again, but it definitely is true. Obviously the I'm fine thing, there's much more to it than that. But men have this really great ability to think about nothing, and doing nothing is a way of coping, and it's a way of escape. So sometimes where a woman feels like she might need to talk it out and talk about it and get the feelings and emotions out, a guy is much better off, majority, right? Generally speaking, the vast majority of men are better off just saying, I don't want to talk about it. And it's not because there isn't something to talk about. It's that not talking about it and escaping from it mentally also helps us escape emotionally and to not have to worry about it for the moment. And it's just a kind of a way of hitting the reset button and trying to find a few minutes of peace internally.
Oh, so when we're kind of nagging, being like, so tell me about it. But why not? Why don't you want to talk about it? And we're all like, why?
Yeah, there's probably almost nothing more annoying than that. However, on the other side of that, if we're not careful, the problem we get into is that for a woman to see a man doing nothing, there's probably nothing more annoying than that. And so here we are, we got these two opposite ways of dealing with a problem, and they conflict with each other. So if I'm like, I just want a few minutes, just give me some time, and I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like doing nothing, for her it's like, there's so many things around the house that we could be doing. There's so many things that need to be tended to or fixed or taken care of.
And that's so sad because they literally, like, if they just get home, okay, even in the restroom, like, they can just be in the restroom and the kids are already, like, where's dad? Or, like, and it used to happen to me in the beginning. He literally would just come home and I'm just like, touch me, like, tag team, like, just tag me so I can tag out and you could tag in. And it's like, but he's literally been at work all day. So for me, I want the break, but then where does he get the break too? Like, even if it's just a half hour, we're just like already like, okay, like this happened, the kids are fighting, this and this and this. And we don't even give him a time to just like, okay, just give him his little space. Like, and you're like, well, I don't get space. but this is where you kind of keep the peace in the home. Okay, sorry, go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, and to that point too, one of the difficult parts is, at the very bottom of that list, you'll see the word confused. And I would just say probably if the women could own a large part of that, that would probably be really helpful. Because one of the difficult things about parenting is, generally speaking, the guy is, the dad is the enforcer. And so mom generally makes the rules, and then when the kids are not following the rules, then it's like, okay, I'm going to tell dad. And dad's going to come in and be the strong hand and really enforce the rules that mom has set in place. So if I'm
stepdad.
Or if I'm just getting home from work, right? And so it's like, okay, tag me in. Now I'm in there, and it's like, they didn't do this, 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 and this. And so now I'm quote unquote punishing or enforcing these rules on the kids that I wasn't there. I didn't see what happened. And so I'm getting there and I'm forcing these rules on the kids and saying, okay, be nice to your sister, be nice to your brother. That's it. If you guys keep messing up, and they're looking at me like,
what'd you get here?
Yeah, you weren't even there. Like, you don't even know what happened. And the kids are trying to explain themselves, and I'm like, no, mom said. And then it's like, I come in, and then I'm, that's it. You guys go to your room, or you can't play games for this much time. And then who comes and says, don't be so hard on them. Come on.
Who does that? We do that, guys.
And I'm like, hold up. Wait a second. You're the one that is looking at me like I'm not contributing enough. And I'm coming in strong to enforce your rules. And now you're undermining me. And oh, heck no, this is not going to work like this. Just don't even include me anymore. Like, you take care of it then from start to finish.
So can you imagine, like, this is what they have to go through, like, on a daily basis. Like, we want them to get involved, but then we're just like, no, you're not doing it right. That's not how you want them to do it. It's like, get involved. You don't even help with the kids. I remember in the beginning, I would be like, you don't even help with taking the kids a shower, blah, blah. So there he is, helping wash Lily's hair. And I'm just like, you know what? Never mind. You didn't even wash her hair right. You didn't even use the right shampoo. Like, it's okay. It's okay. So then it's like, we need to decide what we want to help them contribute. And then we need to leave them and let them do it the way they do it, without us complaining, without us like having all these, mumbling behind their backs, and just give them the respect that they're there and they're contributing and that they're doing it.
Yeah, for my birthday this year, she was like, because my birthday was on the 19th, and so she's like, what do you want for your birthday? And her love language is gift giving, right? So I'm like, nothing. I have everything that I would want. Everything else,
like this.
Yeah, everything else that I would ask for is I mean, I have everything I need, right? So everything I would ask for would just be a want. And so she's like, well, what do you want? I'm like, honestly, she's like, well, what do you want to do? And I go, just watch movies all day. And she's like, but really, like, what else do you want to do? Like, and I go, no, that's it. I don't want anything. I don't want to do anything. Just have the kids over, because my oldest son is grown up and he's out of the house now. Just have the kids over, watch movies, eat snacks. And she's like, that's it. I'm like, that's it. And so she really was like freaking out about it, because
I asked him like every day that week.
And so she's freaking out because that just can't be, right? She's somebody that, I'm a person that if somebody invites me to a party and I can't afford to buy a gift, I'll show up with no gift because I want to be there for that person. If she doesn't have money for a gift, she won't show up. And I'm like, that's so rude. That's messed up.
Like, that's so embarrassing. How are you going to show up? That's the only reason they invite you is because they want a gift. He's
and I'm like, no, the relationship, like, that's the most important part.
This is the whole 14 years we've been married, like, doing this, learning, I'm like, oh, really? So that's not really why you get invited to a party, because they want a gift? It's like, no, they really just want you to go.
So for my birthday, we watched the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy. So my youngest son hadn't seen any of them yet. So we watched the whole thing. I mean, we got up, we started watching it, we ate snacks, we're falling asleep, waking up. They're so long, they're still going. We're taking breaks. I mean, but you know what? Here's why it meant so much to me, okay? The majority of my life, okay, I'm obligated to do something and be in a place for some other person at a certain period of time, dedicated for a certain length of time. Okay, so in other words, I have to get up because I got to go to work. And then once work is over, obviously I come home, okay? I'm getting tagged in when I get home. There are chores and things that I'm supposed to be doing that
He doesn't
also,
want to do.
right? Even when I don't want to do it, okay, they're still there. Okay, I also help out in ministry, so that happens on certain days at certain times.
Yeah.
So I'm obligated to be there. I'm committed, right? So I'm committed to work. I'm committed to my family. I'm committed to ministry. I'm committed to helping out. You know, I try to fit time in to exercise. I'm supposed to be doing schoolwork, which,
Oh my gosh.
okay, I'm supposed to be doing all these things that there's just not enough time in the day to do. And so for one day, I didn't want to have to be anywhere at any certain time or do anything that I was obligated or committed to do. So for my birthday, nothing. That was my gift.
And I had to respect that. And even though that's not what I wanted to do, and you're like, Vanessa, this is not your birthday. But you have no idea how we women do that with their decisions. And this is not just about a birthday. This is about so many different things. We literally disrespect their wants and their needs because it doesn't fit our agenda. It doesn't fit our schedule. So because it doesn't fit our plans, then it kind of just, that's not important. Like, I'm sorry, that doesn't count. This doesn't fit the kids. It doesn't fit this. So when in your life or in your marriage do the priorities go where your husband actually matters and what they need actually matters and what they are needing so they can actually kind of knock a couple of these things down matters? When do you become that friend or that wife that cares? Like, when does that happen? And this is why we're here, because I wanted to touch bases with it, because sometimes we are the only person, and I'm going to say this like the nicest way I can possibly say it, that literally point the finger at every single person. You didn't do that. You're not doing this. We're super judgmental. When do you have your husband sitting at home with the list saying like, you didn't wash this stuff right, you didn't do this right, you didn't do this right, and already thinking, oh no, that's not how I want it. But we constantly have a list. When they get better at it, we have another list. Now I want you to be this person. And then when they get there, then we're like, no, and then now we want this out of you. And it's like, imagine if they were like that with you all the time. They were just like, okay, I want you to lose weight. I want you to do this. I want you to cook like this. I want you to do this. And then when you learn all those, wait for it. I got another list coming for you. Like, that has to be exhausting. Like, when do they just get to rest and they feel appreciated for who they are, for the father they are at that moment? You know, like, we already tell ourselves, okay, you're not good, mom. We guilt ourselves, but we also guilt other people for not being what we want them to be, and we voice that very loudly. So I wanted to just have him talk about it, because I want you to know that it's actual real thing, you know, that what they're going through. And, you know, maybe, you know, they go about it the wrong way sometimes, but it doesn't mean that they're not feeling things, or that they're not thinking things, or that they're not worried about. Like, can you tell me, like, what are the things that you worry as a dad that, you know, moms probably don't think that dads actually are thinking about?
So the vast majority of everything that I do for the family, for my wife, for my kids. And so to have somebody treat me as if I don't care is disrespectful, right? Because I believe that the majority of the things that I am doing are for them. And so if at any moment in time she's cutting me down by saying, okay, you're not meeting this standard, therefore you're not meeting this standard. So in other words, saying you're substandard, okay? What my brain does is, guys have this, I call it the committee, that's constantly going on in their mind saying like, you're not good enough, you can't do it, there probably is somebody better, you don't make enough money, you're not a good enough provider, you're not a good enough dad, you're gonna regret this. You know, that's constantly going on in our minds. So for someone outside of my mind to say something or lead me to believe that I'm not good enough or substandard, my brain interprets that as if not good enough. And it's not isolated to one area. Okay, I could be doing 10 things right, but her interpreting me not doing enough in one area, in my brain, you're not good enough at all. You're not doing anything right. And so it's strange because you have to fight to overcome that. And so I would say if you're a guy and you're going through that, or your husband is going through that they have find a really strong relationship, if somebody that is married, or has a strong character, has a lot of integrity, somebody that can speak life into them and have that strong relationship, somebody that they can open up with. Because generally men have the same kind of jokey complaints, but they're always based on some truth.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a relationship, or have like a mentor, somebody that you can open up and share with, it's really healthy. Because generally speaking, again, me expressing myself to Vanessa, I've learned to express myself.
Yeah.
But there are times where I just say, I don't want to talk about it right now.
And I have to let it go. Like, I just have to say it.
Yeah,
okay.
and it just takes me time to understand how I need to say it in a way that's not hurtful, disrespectful, or just standoffish.
Yeah.
So I'm learning to do that more and more, so I'm able to express myself now. But if I didn't have that practice, I didn't have somebody that's really guiding and mentoring me, then what was happening in the past is that I revert and retreat to what helps me best, which is don't talk about it, do nothing, just leave me alone for 15 minutes, I'm fine.
Yeah, and then it gets me in a frustrated position because I'm like, he's not doing anything, he's not talking about it, and we're not going to fix it, and we're going to be in the same cycle another year, and then another year, and then another year.
So she interprets me doing nothing as he doesn't care.
Yeah.
And that's not true. I actually care a great amount, and it scares me to think that I'm failing, and my kids are going to grow up, and if they fail, it's because I failed them. And so we're not talking about just
a lot of pressure.
Yeah, we're not talking about one event. They tried to, in sports, they tried something and they didn't win the game. Not that kind of fail that's immediate and you can turn it into a teaching lesson. We're talking they're going to grow up and fail in life, and then it's going to be my fault. So I'm over here stressing about things that are 15, 20 years down the road that may never even happen. And it's I'm bearing this weight on my shoulders for things that I don't even know about. And it's all emotional and psychological. So it's very difficult to try to manage all of that personally while trying to maintain and fulfill all the needs of somebody else and the home and the kids, because each child also has different needs.
Yeah.
And if I'm not meeting their needs, not only am I at risk of failing them in my mind, right? Because Aiden is a different kind of child, and he's not high maintenance at all. And if you don't talk to him, if you don't intervene or get involved with what he's doing, he's perfectly happy to keep doing what he's doing by himself, uninterrupted. Okay? Lily, she demands my attention. And if I'm not meeting their needs, then I've got somebody that's following very closely behind me that's going to say, like, you're not doing enough of this. Like, Aiden's going to grow up, and you need to do this, this, and this, and this. And so it's really intense. It can be really, and the problems are magnified in my mind, because if I'm not careful, my imagination will get the best of me. And if that happens, then it starts amping me up emotionally.
Yeah. And
then what happens when I get overwhelmed, I retreat to doing nothing, to not talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a really cool teaching about men and women's brains from a guy named Mark Gungor.
Yeah,
So
it's really good.
A Tale of Two Brains is what it's called. So if you ever want to look it up, it's great information.
Yeah, you can go to YouTube. But one of the reasons why I kind of wanted to bring this up is because, can you imagine, like, everything that he's talking about and how they're feeling in their brain, and then they're walking around your house just kind of like monotone and just quiet, and you can say kind of serious, and you're like, what's wrong? Are you okay? I'm fine. Everything's fine. And then you see them giggling with their friends. You're like, but why are you okay with them and not okay with me? Because it just kind of turns back on whenever they're in that space where everything is happening, because this is where it's happening. So I wanted to touch base because this is dangerous. Like, and why did I say this is dangerous? Because they feel like this at home, and you don't do anything to change that. And then guess where they go to work? They go to work, right? Everybody has work. And then they go to work, and here you have people, oh, you did such a great job. You're so great. You're so amazing. And it's like, wait, there's no nagging. They're not looking at my flaws. They're just happy with me. And it's a good feeling. It's a feeling that somebody actually accepts you and somebody likes you and somebody is not saying, man, you know, like, you're not meeting my expectations. You're actually like, man, you're perfect. Because they don't live with them first, you know, but that's just the feeling of it. Yeah. So because it's an illusion, then it's like, I want that feeling again. I can't wait to go to work. I need to get away from this, and I want to be here. And then you're like, where were you at? Oh, I was at work late. Why were you at work late? I had to work late. Because they'd rather be somewhere else where they feel like they're being appreciated rather than somewhere where they're not. So goals for this week for you guys. Think about when your husband comes home, think about if you're giving him that time to just, what is it called?
It's a little bit of time to unwind.
Unwind. And tell him that, you know what, just go relax, go take a shower. You know, do you want something to eat? Whatever it is. If not, just don't even go talk to him. Just leave him. Give him a kiss. Hi, we missed you. We love you. And just give him his space. He's going to be like, what the heck is going on here? And then once you give him his space, you know, that week, notice if you see something that's going on, you know, make sure that you are appreciating him that week. Just saying, man, thank you for this. We really appreciate you. Thank you for getting up and going to work in the morning. Thank you for, I don't know, throwing out the trash. Even though that's your job, don't tell him that, but just say, thank you for throwing out the trash. You know what I mean? Like, we appreciate that. Because what that's going to start doing is it's going to start quieting that committee, and it's going to allow him to just go back to knowing, you know what, I got this. I can do this. I love this family. I love my wife. Like, I can be here. I can be present. I don't know. What else?
I think that's a great start, you know, and I think on the other side for the guys, try to do your best to communicate, to connect. You know, when you get home, after you relax, if you get that 15-20 minute period, try to find maybe 2-3 things that you can share with your wife that will help her know that you're interested in having a conversation with her, that you're interested in sharing. And so what I might do personally is I'll find a couple of things that frustrated me about my day at work, and I'll find one thing that I accomplished or one thing that made me feel good about my work day. And so it gets me past the I'm fine, past the I'm good, past the, you know, same old, it was work, you know, kind of stuff. And it allows me to kind of practice opening up a little bit. Because the truth of the matter is, if you're feeling all those things like a lot of us guys are, and you're not talking about it, it's going to come out in some other way that can be very unhealthy. So
just guys, that's it. So we love you guys. We hope that we can talk to you guys soon again. And yeah, that's it. So appreciate each other, love each other. At the end of the day, just remember, you either put effort in this relationship or you're going to have to put effort into another relationship. Yeah. So, you know, you don't want to be that person sending the love songs like, I wish I had you again. You know, you don't want to be that person. Just make it work, guys. Make it work.
Other songs are better than that, too. Just saying.
Get out of here. We're going to get going because he's in trouble now. All right. Good night, guys. Bye.